a small cat for your enjoyment. Alright, I am back. Hello, Jamie! Welcome to an attempt at ASMR by the raccoon, but also tea! Our setup today is sponsored by Cat, cut out of wood. Raw Edge Cat. Come get yours today at cat raw.org. Also sponsored by Mango Lime Margarita Scented Soy Candle. It looks disgusting in there, so just smell it, don't look at it. So to start, I figured I'd whip up some matcha. Wait, no, that was gonna be my ending. Just kidding. We're not starting with that. We're ending with that. For those of you who haven't been here while I've done a tea like this before, this is the beautiful quinoa. Originated in the lovely China as a way to do small steepings. This is our mini teapot, because the whole point of small steepings is to taste the flavor as it develops. So you steep the same tea leaves multiple times, and so then you taste like the flavor as it develops, basically. And so this is our little baby teapot. He's very cute. I don't know how to do tippy taps because I don't have nails. These are our tools. This is the Chinese character, I believe Mandarin character for tea. And these are our tea tools. We have, of course, the matcha scoop, the tea scoop, this is a pair of tongs, because what you're supposed to do is you're actually supposed to hold all of the pieces and you're supposed to douse them in boiling water before you start, because you want everything to be at the same temperature as the tea itself. This is a little stabby boy to kind of diffuse up the leaves as you put them in here. And I'll be honest, I forget what this one is. I'm drawing a blank. We also have this, which is how at the start of, if you would call it a ceremony, even though you're just doing it with one person, this is where you present the tea leaves. Oh, my phone. So you present the tea leaves on this guy, and then you smell them when they're dry, is kind of how it normally goes. Oh, and then this is our baby tasting cup. Sometimes you also have a smelling cup. I usually just, drink the tea, but you can smell it in this little baby cup. But it is very small. I have small hands, so you can't really tell, but it is very small. And the type of tea that we're going to do today is a PuhEr brick. So PuhEr is a type of tea that's actually fermented. So it's condensed down into these bricks, and then it's sat and it's fermented. So you can kind of see what it looks like. All of the different tea bits. So this variety has both flowers and it has leaves, but it has a very beautiful range of color. And so this is literally a solid brick. So what you have to do is you basically smash it. What's recommended, some people like using screwdrivers to smash it. They'll have a dedicated tea flathead screwdriver. I usually just try picking bits off of it, obviously with clean hands. But I do have a little blurb from, I used to get a tea subscription box. And I have a little blurb from the actual growers of this PuhEr when it was sent to me that I figured would be cool to read. This was the February of this year, crafted and curated by the Dong Sa Cooperation in Kianjahai, Kianjahai. I really wish I wasn't butchering that pronunciation as much as I know I am. But I will read not a hard Q. Wian Jazhai. The J is what's messing me up. Wian Tian Jazhai. I kind of want to Google and see how to pronounce this, because I hate not doing it justice.
Chinjajai.
Oh, chinjaza.
Chinjajai.
Chinjaza. Okay.
Chinjajai.
Chinjaza. Chinjaza. Crafted and curated by the Dongsa Cooperation in Jianjiaza. So the one that we have is this guy right here. 2022 tea flower, Gu Hua Shen. Gu Hua is Master Zhao's favorite tea harvest. A small picking from 100 to about 400-year-old tea trees that the cooperation does in early autumn as the weather shifts and the nights are cool again. This tea is rich, fruity, juicy, and incredibly sweet. It almost drinks like jasmine tea. The tea flowers add in texture and a honeyed sweetness. The tea itself was pressed into a cake in an old-school carved stone mold, weighted with a block. No hydraulic press used here. This means looser compression for even and beautiful aging. And so the aging is what actually gives it that flavor that's so different and unique to PuhEr. So we're going to take our tea cake. We're actually going to pull out all of our supplies. Because this glass is just making a lot of noise that I don't like. Alright. So now we're just going to break off a little bit of our tea cake to present the leaves. I think I might actually, this is not the purpose of the tongs, but that was a good chunk. I do really love the design on this guy. I think it's very nice. So this is what the leaves look like when they're broken down into its own. We got a little flower there. another few flowers in these 2 chunks. Now for more even brewing, I do want to break these up, but I'll probably do that once I actually put it into the Goan, because I don't really want it to go flying everywhere. So that's what it looks like when it's dry. And then part of the process is that you're supposed to smell it now. So just, imagine you're smelling it right now. It smells very... I'll be perfectly honest, I smell mostly my candle. I don't smell very much. And I feel like with most PuhErs that are in block form, you really don't smell a lot. Unless you're like in the middle of the block. Alright, now we're gonna pour this. I'm just gonna do a little bit of a stabby stab. And now, with our freshly boiling water, we pour our water over. And we're doing small steeps. You don't need to fill it all the way. And then typically where you start is you start off with just, sometimes some people like starting off with just a 30-second steep. I usually start off with a 1-minute steep. 1 minute on the clock. And then how I was taught is I was taught to do a double straining method, which would be where this is our first straining method, because what we do is we actually tilt the Goan so that only the tea filters out. It doesn't get any of like only the liquid filters out. It doesn't get any of the tea leaves. And so then you pour that into your serving receptacle, which is our little baby teapot here. And typically in this teapot then, you would have a second metal, maybe like a mesh strainer. However, right now, I have 3 different metal mesh strainers that would work, and all of them are currently preoccupied with other types of tea that, because I tend to reuse tea leaves. So we're not going to do that today, but I'm just going to try and be very, very careful that I don't get any of this out. And so there's different ways that you can hold the Goan. I did a research paper on basically the Gung Fu tea ceremony, which is what this is. Not only do I adore tea, but I have done a lot of research into it, and obviously I can't speak from personal experience, just from experience of things that I've learned from others. But from what I recall, it's called cupping the dragon, I believe, is a special way of holding your... Oh, just kidding, sorry. Cupping the dragon is a special way of holding this. With, I believe, your knuckles. I don't fully remember it. Ooh. This guy is, you use your knuckle in the middle to kind of offset it slightly, so that you have that little section for it to pour out. And then you obviously got to keep the heat in. But then you would go around and we would observe and smell the tea leaves after their first steeping. So you can see some of the flowers have bloomed a bit. And now it definitely has an aroma. It's a very earthy. It almost reminds me of like, not necessarily a campfire, but like that like feeling of being around a campfire and like being cozy while you're camping. But it's not smoky. It's very different from a lapsang souchong. I love PuhEr tea so much. And then I get to pour from our adorable little boy right here. So this is what that color looks like. And so if you do a lot lighter of typically like you would do a first flush, which is just a really quick, probably like 15 seconds of having water on the leaves to kind of help them open up. And actually, typically you don't actually drink that first flush because it's considered to like just not really have the full properties of the tea, which is why I tend to do like a longer 1 minute steep, because I don't really want to just waste that tea, but it also has no flavor. So you got to give it a little bit more time to open up. But it's a very pale yellow, I would say. And it's delicious. I can read our beginning part of this. This month, our box takes us to the remote and beautiful mountainsides of Chenjaha. No. I already forgot.
Chinjajai.
Chenjaha. Beautiful mountainsides of Chenjaha. Rocky peaks overgrown with wildflowers. Tulsi, walnut trees, evergreens, and of course, wild tea trees. The whole region has been designated as a national forest preserve to protect the oldest tea trees in the world, growing so tall that Master Zhao's co-op needs to bring ladders to reach the highest buds in the spring picking season. A dozen families living in what may be the most remote tea growing region in China banded together to establish a single workshop and to pledge together to protect the ancient forest from development and over-harvesting. They hike hours up the mountains to reach the best tea trees, picking by hand and allowing their tea to gently dry in bamboo baskets in one of the last examples of true ancient PuhEr tea craft. No machines and no mechanization. And then, of course, this is just the little blurb for the tea month, This month we are beyond excited to share 2 precious handmade tea cakes from the co-op, both club premieres, featuring wild tea flowers blended with the co-op's iconic old tree PuhEr. The tea flowers give incredible depth for long-term aging and bolster the tea with sweet, rich flavor. So that is our little baby tea ceremony. And so what typically happens is you just keep going. You can steep the same leaves as long as you want, as many times as you want. You typically slowly steep them a little bit longer each time, so you get a little bit more flavor, and then you can just kind of taste the flavor develop. The one thing that's kind of hard about doing this is that you have to like constantly have the water, you want to constantly be at boiling. And so personally, like, my kettle hot plate is in the kitchen, and so if I want to like be doing a tea tasting this, like drinking tea this style while I'm like working and things like that, which I think are really, it's very fun to be able to do that. It is kind of frustrating because I have to be getting up and moving and having to get more hot water so often because it is in such small quantities. But alas, that is the price you must pay for a more intuitive, I guess, way of approaching tea and drinking it. See, even right now, I'm just drinking it a lot faster than I probably would if I was more doing a normal tea tasting, because you want to really like savor it. But at the same time, I'm like, one, it kind of feels weird just drinking tea on stream and not really doing anything else. And two, no, just mostly one, just mostly that. Let's see, can we make any fun sounds? Oh, that was loud. I'll probably do one more steeping and then make some matcha so we can go back to playing a game or doing art. One minute on the clock. Chenjahai. Chenjahai.
Chinjajai.
No. Chenjazai.
Chinjajai.
Chenjazai.
Chinjajai.
Chenjaza. Ja. Ja. Chenjaza. 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 Wait, which one? Chenjaja.
Chinjajai.
Chenjaja. Chenjaja.
Chinjajai.
Hai more than ah. Chenjaja. Chenjashai. Sha. Shai. Chenjashai.
Chinjajai.
Chenjashai. Chenjashai. Oh, and here is where you can see the niceness of double straining, because we have some T-bits in there, but that's okay. Definitely getting a lot more of the fruity florals in the second steeping. And it looks a lot deeper of a yellow on camera than I feel like it is. But it definitely is a darker color. Lots of tea leaves left in that one. Delicious. Thank you, friends, for coming to my tea ceremony. Our tea asmer, if you will. Well, of course, I absolutely love tea and love talking about tea and sharing tea with others. Tea is definitely one of those things that I'm like, obviously if you don't like warm drinks, then there's iced tea for you. If you don't like cold drinks, then there's hot tea. if you don't like florally things, you know, there's lots of fruity ones, there's more earthy ones. I feel like there are so many different kinds of tea that it's a lot of, almost everyone should be able to find a type of tea that they will enjoy and that they like. And there's just so many different ways of brewing it and so many different ways of growing it and preparing it that, to me, it's just so interesting and so amazing. And I just love being able to share that. So thank you for letting me talk to you about tea. I think I will now make some matcha for myself to just have as a little drinky drink by my side. Let me clean up these guys. Ooh, Amsterdam Coffee Festival. I definitely love that it wasn't just coffee. Because I do feel like, obviously coffee has its own, you know, massive culture around it. But I feel like it's seen as a lot more, like, refined. Which to me is really sad, because I think any beverage can be refined. But at least more in, like, the worldwide culture. I feel like Japan has really, like, cultivated a culture around tea, and it's very well known that there's a Japanese tea ceremony. It's not very well known that there's a Chinese tea ceremony, and a lot of people are very much so like, oh, Chinese tea is subpar, it's inferior to like Japanese green teas and things like that. And I feel like there's just a lot of like unnecessary discourse. But that makes me really happy to hear that they had a good tea section at the coffee festival, especially that they were, you know, like opening to the idea of having more than coffee there. Oh, I'm not a coffee drinker. For me, it's mostly like the smell. I like can't even get past the smell itself. It like just turns my stomach the wrong way. But I have so many friends who absolutely adore it. And so, you know, in exchange for me being able to talk about tea, they're like, okay, I get to talk about coffee. So I know some things about like espresso and different kinds of coffee and stuff, but there's a difference between listening and actually absorbing that information. Oh, coffee flavored chocolate. Oh no. I am so sorry. Like even like tiramisu, I for the longest time was trying to convince myself to like it. But I just can't do it. Just can't do it. Coffee flavor's too strong. And because I love matcha but can't afford the best. A tea tiramisu before? Really? Wait, that sounds so cool. Like, was it like with black tea? Because this is still some pretty cheap matcha because I am a broke biatch. We add sugar and sometimes milk. I don't think I have any of my vanilla milk right now. I do almond milk. So we're probably just gonna do some sugar, but I'm very interested in this tea tiramisu hacks. Ooh, a recipe. A milk tea tiramisu. Okay. So it probably is Assam black tea then, because that's like the typical black tea for milk teas. Or maybe it just kind of called for whatever it was that you could get your hands on. You're not doing it right until you have good bubbles on the top. I love this thing. It's so nice for holding it, but it looks so sus. I'm so sorry, but it does. It just does. Oh, it's so warm. And because we reserve this guy for just mixing, so that it has those layers of matcha, because I never wash it with soap, just with hot water, we pour. It's a real stoneware clay matcha. There's a term for them, but I'm forgetting it right now. But I got this guy for free from a very lovely tea, like, cafe place that sadly went out of business after just 2 years. It was the saddest thing I found out this January, that they sadly closed their doors. Right, let's see. What is this? Hong Kong milk tea. Oh, so it uses milk tea powder. Okay, so milk tea powder is usually like kind of like instant powder or instant coffee, where it's evaporated tea concentrate, then with usually milk powder added into it. Interesting. Does not look like something I could veganize very easily. King uses a concentrated powder version of milk tea to add complexity to the custard. Oh, Prince of Peace brand Hong Kong is what they recommend. Let's see, what are the ingredients in this guy? Does it have the ingredients? Sugar, creamer, and tea powder. Not very descriptive. I would love to know what kind of tea, but that is okay. But that sounds very interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Hacks. I will definitely file that away for things I should attempt to veganize at some point in life. Some matcha. Ooh, delicious. But yeah, this is just culinary grade matcha because it's so expensive. Alright, I'm gonna go put my beautiful tea cake back with the rest of my teas before I forget about it. But what should we do for our next little bit? Should we do some art? Should we play a game? Do some community games? Any? Or, I mean, it is kind of very midday, so I would not be surprised if we're just hanging out as we work. That is very fair. I feel like that's normally why I do more artsy streams. A lot easier to just kind of co-work alongside during the day. Alright, Jamie, thank you for hanging out. I hope your eyes do not hurt anymore. That is no bueno. Take some eye drops or maybe drink some water. Do what you gotta do. Take care of yourself. Alright, we're gonna swap back over to our normal listening mode, where I truly have no idea what I sound like. But that was our 30 subbies. I attempt tea or arts asthma. That was a little bit of both. We do still have to vote on a song for me to learn on the uke. I figure I would learn one of Dido's songs just for fun.